Minnesota Vikings have announced their first practice squad. Well, parts of it, most of it. So we'll dive into the 2020 version of the squad. So remember, 16 players allowed on this season's practice squad due to Rona concerns, as well as up to 6 players with unlimited experience. Vikings only have 1, Brett Jones, the OG, as well as with the 55-man roster, 2 practice squad players can be added to the game day 53. The game day 48. So that's why you get from the the 53 to the 55. That can only be done twice per year per player. But yeah, some of these practice squad guys are going to be active on game days, and then they're sent back down to the practice squad. Don't have to clear through waivers. It's actually pretty cool. So let's dive into the Vikings' first batch. So 2 quarterbacks, Jake Browning, Nate Stanley, both make it. Fullback Jake Vargas, who we had said had himself a really nice camp. Vikings love them some fullbacks. What I love about the Vikings, even though you have the best fullback in the NFL, CJ Ham, I was looking towards the future. You got Jake Vargas in there. Only 1 wide receiver, Alexander Hollins, made it through waivers. And yeah, with this year, with COVID concerns, only 17 players were picked up off of waivers, which kind of surprising. Usually there's about 50 or 60. Tight end Brandon Dillon gets a nod over Nakia Griffin-Stewart. Vikings keep 4 offensive linemen in the fold on the practice squad. Aviante Collins, who might have started, probably not. Fake competition. 7th round pick Kyle Big Hinton, veteran center Brett Jones, who they always do dirty. I wouldn't be shocked if Jones gets called up from the practice squad after week 1. Blake Brandel, keeping a handle on it, 6th round pick from Oregon State. And then defensively, you have linebacker Blake Lynch. You have cornerback safety Nate Metters, who was a 2nd-year UDFA from UCLA. Was really good in camp last year. Switched to safety. I didn't quite make the squad as well. The Vikings only kept 2. But no. Quarterback Mark Fields II, who had himself a nice camp, working primarily from the slot. You have safety Josh Metellus, who was disappointing, but did just enough to remain on the practice squad, as well as kicker Chase McLaughlin is back on the Vikings practice squad. He had a cup of coffee here last season, as well as likely linebacker Hardy Nickerson II, who was picked up formerly of the Bengals. Vikings. He initially made the 53, but the Vikings cut him when they claimed Ryan Connolly, so it's likely that he's going to be on the practice squad. So that would be 15 out of 16 spots, as well as the team made their official announcement with a batch of 13, not counting McLaughlin. So it means that they're probably done for the day until second waivers passes through, keeping 1 spot open. And also, we've talked about 1 spot on the practice squad is usually just rotated through, where you sign a guy on alternate weeks, you sign another guy for alternate weeks. So de facto, you have an extra practice squad spot. So yeah, the guys come on and off the practice squad all the time. But a couple surprises. So no Courtney Davis, the high-profile UDFA wide receiver from Texas A&M, as well as no Neville Clark, the UDFA cornerback from Central Florida, who had himself a damn fine camp. So a little bit surprising there. Of course, both could be in the fold on and off the practice squad, pending on alien abductions, pending on performance, etc. A little bit less surprising. So no Jake Lucina or Stephen Parker. I thought Lucina might have had a shot if Brett Jones had taken his talents elsewhere, but the former Augustana star, Remington Award Trophy winner, Pride of St. Paul Cream-Derm Hall, does not make the practice squad as of right now. Also, safety Stephen Parker, who had been running with the 2s and looked pretty damn good throughout training camp, who was a waiver claim from the Dolphins, doesn't quite cut the mustard here. Also, all their 6th and 7th round picks, besides Brian Cole II, made the roster. And we did a video earlier on Sunday about people like, oh, well, none of the 6th or 7th round picks made the 53. Yeah, well, they all made the practice squad, so there. 4 quarterbacks, which I think is smart with this weird COVID season. But also, if you're down to Jake Browning or Nate Stanley, may as well pack it in. The 2 kickers, which is interesting because, Dan Bailey's rock solid last year. Chase McLaughlin has experience here with the Vikings, who's here 9 days. And then kick for 3 separate teams. So I think it is smart, just with COVID precautions, with expanded practice squads, as well as Dan Bailey has had injury issues in the past. So it would be smart if something happens with Bailey to have a kicker who's going to be in the building, is going to be working with Skulkwood holding and cutting snapping and Maloof and Kading, etc. It makes sense. No defensive lineman, but also, that's fine. You have 11 on the 53. If the Vikings do have to shift a roster spot, I think one of them could come down to the practice squad. You have 13 total offensive linemen in the sphere. Also good to see. 8 wide receivers. None of them is Courtney Davis. So they got 7 out of 53 plus Alexander Hollins on the practice squad. You have 4 safeties in the mix if you count Metters as a safety. Metters and Metellus on the practice squad, Harris and Harrison on the active roster. I think that will change. And like we said, this will be in flux. Like, say the Vikings do add a safety to the 53, and then they'll probably cut, I don't know, like Hercules, Mataafa, or James Lynch, or Dan Chisena, and then they're definitely going to be headed to the practice squad since the Vikings thought so highly of them in the first place that they were on the initial 53. So, take everything here with a grain of salt, but it is a good group. You do have a decent mix of projects that the Vikings want a longer look at. You look at Hollins, you look at Dylan, the Marion Barbarian, look at Kyle Big Hinton, as well as Blake Brandel, plus a couple of decent veterans that if you need a guy, they can be a guy. You look at Collins, you look at Brett Jones, and also you could throw Mark Fields in there as well. So going to be interesting, going to be intriguing to see how the new practice squad rules play out and how it will affect strategy, both for roster construction as well as on game day. But that is it. Like, all of the offseason out of the way. It's officially game week. Greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers a week from now, Sunday, U.S. Bank Stadium. Woo! Let's get it. All right, so your thoughts. Vikings set an initial practice squad. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol. Production value.